Hello, everyone, and welcome to your lesson today on Merton's strain theory. Merton is a functionalist, so it still goes under functionalism, and he had a very particular view on crime and deviance that he called strain theory, and that's what we're going to have a look at today. So your title is Merton's strain theory, and your objective is to be able to explain Merton's theory of how strain, and that's his very own concept, causes crime and deviance. So who was Merton? So Merton was an American sociologist, and all of his work comes from a very American view on things. So just bear that in mind as you're going through the work. Writing in the middle of the 20th century, so 50s, 60s, a bit more modern than Parsons or Durkheim, some of the other functionists that we've looked at. He was broadly functionist in his approach, but he did disagree with functionalism on some bits and pieces. But the main things with them he had in common. So he believed society is stable and there's social order because all members share similar values. And he believed that it was these values that were important. Merton argued that most people in society share the same goals, have the same values in terms of things like money, having a good career, consumerism, buying things. We all value fashions and trends and status symbols. And Merton was a big believer that everybody in the kind of the frame of research that he did bought into the idea of the American dream, that anybody can achieve if they try hard enough. And that's the American dream, that anybody who tries hard enough, it's a meritocracy. Anyone who tries hard enough can get the goal at the end, can get success as long as they try as hard as they can. And two key terms, if you're going to understand Merton's theory, are the ideas of goals and means. So Merton looked at the relationship between the goals that people try to achieve, i.e. success, a good education, money, and the means, by which he means the ways that people try to achieve them. So how do people go about achieving these goals? So money, success, a career. Merton argued that most people, because he's functionist and he thinks everything's great, are conformist. So they want to achieve the acceptable goals that society dictates: job, money, own house, have a family, by acceptable means: education, hard work, qualifications. And it links to the idea of the American dream. But he argued most people believe that if you work hard, you will get the success at the end. And Merton argued that most people in society stick to that idea. However, Merton's theory is called strain theory, and you'll hear me refer to it as that quite a lot of the way through this course. But Merton suggested that some people face a strain or a conflict or difficulty when it comes to one or both of these ideas. For example, society is unequal. You know, he's a little bit different to your classic functionist there, because they don't normally like to see the bad stuff. So he does acknowledge that society is unequal and not everybody has opportunities and equal access to the qualifications or employment that will get them to those goals. And he said that this strain, so this not being able to achieve, leads to anomie, a really important functionist concept. Durkheim came up with this one, and it's a feeling of confusion, uncertainty, and normlessness. Imagine there were no norms. People don't know what's expected of them, and they don't know how to achieve it. And that would be what we'd call anomie. Lots of people at the moment, I think, from reading the news, are experiencing this sense of anomie. Everything's changed. Nothing is as we expect it, and therefore it leaves us unsure how to act. Even going to the supermarket is very different now. You guys will be back in school soon, and it's lovely, but it is different, and so therefore there's lots of this sense of anomie. We're all a bit confused and uncertain, and we don't necessarily know how to act and behave. And Merton said that what happens is that there are 4 different types of rule breakers, 4 different ways that people can adapt the goals and the means: innovators, ritualists, retreatists, and rebels. And there's a little picture there of each of them. So if I just whiz through. So innovators are people who accept the goals of society. So they want to achieve success, they want money, they want qualifications, they want a good job, but they'll do it through deviant means. So, for example, they might steal to get money, they might cheat to pass an exam. Those people innovate, they're creative, they change up the means, what's expected of them in order to achieve, but they want what the rest of society wants. Ritualists, down in the bottom right hand corner, they also continue, well, they work within the system, so they accept the means. They've been socialized, they conform, but they kind of accept that they are not going to be successful. They give up on the goals. So they're kind of the opposite of the innovators. Ritualists reject the goals of society, but they accept the means. So they still go to work, they still go to school, they still do everything that's asked of them, but they know that they are stuck in a dead end and they're not going to get anywhere. So they don't have any enthusiasm, they don't have any ambition, they reject the goals in society, but they accept the means. Now, they're not breaking any rules, they're not deviant in the sense that they are breaking the law or breaking norms, but what they are breaking are the norms of wanting success. And that's this is where I kind of say you have to be really clear that Merton's American in his sense. It's a very American thing to always want to achieve and want to believe that you can achieve. So it's actually deviant when you give up on that dream. Retreatists abandon both of them. So people retreat, they back away. Merton saw them as dropouts. They don't want the goals of society, they don't care about money, they don't care about success, but they also are not sticking to the means either. They're not getting a job, they're not working hard, but they don't care enough to innovate. So retreatists for Merton were people like drug addicts, homeless people who dropped out of society, people who use other forms of deviant behaviour to kind of fill their time and fill their day because they've got absolutely no goals and nothing that they're trying to achieve. And then the final one are the rebels. So rebels reject both and they want to change society. So they reject society's goals and they reject the ways of achieving them. So terrorist groups, revolutionaries, they are deviant because they are trying to change society, bring about new ways of doing things, and therefore they are deviant because they rebel against the system. So all four of these Merton saw as ways of reacting to strain. It's not always a simple move for people to achieve the goals in society. So Merton said that there are four main ways that people can react when things are not going to plan as a result of this sense of anomie. Okay, task I'd like you to do first, you'll probably want to pause it here. 5 headings in your notes: conformist, innovator, ritualist, retreatist, rebel. Can you sort those groups underneath into the right headings? Which one do they fit into? So you can go back and have a look and check that you know what the 5 groups are for, and then add the right people, the right sort of actions under the right heading. And then task number 2, come up with an example of your own for each type of rule breaking or deviance and explain how your examples show each type. Okay, so come up with your own ones, but explain how it shows that they are an innovator or a ritualist. And then big challenge for today, can you think of or research and find out? So there are quite a few A-level sites out there: Revised Sociology, Hectic Teachers, A-level Sociology site, Tutor to You. Can you find some criticisms of Merton? There are some. It's not a perfect theory. Can you find some criticisms of his work? Can't wait to see what you guys come up with.